What's up everybody and welcome to my channel. So I've been playing Call of Duty for many years now and I absolutely love the franchise. I wouldn't say I'm very good at Call of Duty, I'm no professional player or anything, but to me that doesn't matter. It's just about having fun with the game, playing with your friends, and creating memories that you will never forget. I've wanted to do something for a long time. Review every Call of Duty 4 map in depth. And I'm going to break this review of the game up into 4 parts. Since there's 20 maps in the game, including the DLC maps, I'll be doing 5 maps per video in alphabetical order. So this video will have Ambush, Backlot, Bloc, Bog, and Countdown. Now to me, this may not be everybody's shared opinion, but a Call of Duty multiplayer map isn't just about how it plays. While it's very important, it's also about how the map looks, how cool the map is, the vibe or atmosphere of the map, and how much attention to detail the developers spent on the map. Back then there wasn't nearly as much detail as the maps have in today's games. And I'll keep that in mind when I rate these maps, because today's maps are much more detailed than they were back in 2007. I rated each map on its looks, its playability, the cool factor or vibe of the map, and the attention to detail. That's 4 categories. Each category has a rating of 10, which makes the best score on each map a 40. So with the explaining out of the way, let's get started with the reviews. The first map is Ambush. This is a medium-sized map that takes place in the desert town of Khafji, Saudi Arabia. This map is full of destruction, and in the middle of the map you have a road with tanks on it. This map is very brown and gray, not much color to it, which makes sense being in the desert, but it doesn't make it an overall good looking map. There's also all the destruction and rubble in the map, which brings the looks down as well. There are palm trees on the map, but they still seem to have a brown tint to them, which would make me have to rate it at a very low 2 out of 10 on the looks. Now from what I remember when playing this map, it was very fun for snipers, hanging out in the upper levels, fighting on either side of the map. I wasn't a sniper though, and I'm still not much of a sniper, so to me the playability of this map wasn't horrible but not great. I still had fun running around this map, flanking those snipers and taking them out. There are these drainage pipes under the road you could use to flank those snipers if you wanted, which was pretty cool. You even had the 2 mounted MG spots on the map, even though they were in a really weird spot. I will give this map a slightly below average rating of a 4.5 out of 10 for the playability. The vibe or cool factor of this map is also to me not the greatest. I mean, it's just a relatively boring desert map full of destruction and rubble. It's kind of cool that it's got the tanks and Humvees in the middle, and how you can tell at one time this map was a town, but to me the overall vibe was quite low. I gave the cool factor and vibe of this map a 3 out of 10. Being that this map is just about completely destroyed, the developers didn't really have to spend much time on the attention to detail. Yes, there are some pictures in the buildings, and signs on the outside of the buildings. The tanks have some detail in them, but it's really just a basic brown map. I did find this floating brick on the map behind this cloth, which I thought was funny. And there is the famous teddy bear that Infinity Ward likes to hide in their maps in the center between the tanks. But I'm going to have to give the attention to detail of this map a 2.5 out of 10. This brings the rating of this map a total of 12 out of 40. Not the best. Next up is Backlot. This map takes place in another desert town in Basra, Iraq. This map features stores, apartment buildings, and a construction site on one side. This was a medium-sized map that had both close quarters combat and good open sightlines for sniper gameplay. This map is another very brown map. Again, in the desert, I know, but it also has some color to it. There are palm trees, grass, and some colorful umbrellas on the apartment balconies. Just a bit more color overall on this map than on Ambush. The architecture of the buildings are pretty cool as well. But with all that being said, it's still basically a brown map. I'll give this map a 3 out of 10 for its looks. I remember playing this map a lot, probably because they brought it back as a remake in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 as Talsic Backlot. Playing a lot of this 2019 version of the map, I remember having a lot of fun on it. I remember feeling that this map was fairly balanced for sniper and run and gun gameplay. I will have to give Backlot an above average rating of a 7.2 out of 10 for the playability. The cool factor of this map isn't bad. You got all these shops, apartments, the construction site, which is cool, and you even have automotive repair shops on the map. This one feels more like a town than Ambush, probably because it has less destruction. I would have to give this map's cool factor vibe rating a 6.3 out of 10. The attention to detail was pretty good on this map. You got all the shops and apartments with good amount of detail in them. All the signs on the buildings, all the vehicles in the streets. As I said, the automotive shops, the bulldozer, it's got these bikes hanging up on the ceiling in one of the garages. It's got these random birds flying away off in the sky. And some construction equipment on the construction site. There's even a spray painted graffiti Infinity Ward logo on 3 spots on the map, which adds to the detail of the map. I'm going to have to give this map a rating of a 7.5 out of 10 for the attention to detail. This makes Backlot's total 24 out of 40. Not too bad. Bloc is the next map. This map takes place in Pripyat, Ukraine. It is a medium to large size map in a large multi-story apartment complex with a snowy courtyard in the middle. For the looks of this map, the color palette for the buildings is mostly gray, with some color on the golden statue in the courtyard and the red flags hanging from the buildings. I feel the looks of this map would be fairly low, being it is mostly gray, but the snow brings the looks up quite a bit. I love the snow. So, I'm going to have to give this map's looks an above average 5.8 out of 10. The gameplay of this map was very poor. Many people hate this map's gameplay, and some would even say it's their least favorite map in the game. When I played this map, yes, I would get sniped constantly from the other apartment buildings across the map, but sometimes I would be able to flank these enemies and take them out. But overall, I would have to agree with everybody on the gameplay of this map. It is quite bad. I will give it a 2.5 out of 10. Now, the vibe and coolness of this map to me is awesome. I love the feeling of this map, being that it is in Pripyat after the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster, and these abandoned apartment buildings with the famous creepy Ferris wheel behind them. The best part of this map is the abandoned swimming pool in the back. There's just something so eerie about an abandoned swimming pool to me. It's got like those liminal space vibes. I don't know, to me the vibe of this map is top notch. I have to give it an 8.5 out of 10 for the coolness vibe ranking. The attention to detail for this map was okay. You got all the rooms in the apartment buildings with some pictures still on the wall. This baby stroller, which adds to the creepy factor. The statue with the man holding a PPSH pointing to the sky. You got a hidden teddy bear. And this random knife jammed in this rock, which I learned it may be in reference to T.H. White's novel, The Sword in the Stone. Definitely never read it, but yeah, that's supposed to be what it's referencing. I would give this map's attention to detail a 6.8 out of 10. This makes Bloc's total a 23.6 out of 40. Next up we got Bog. This map takes place in Al Confuta, Saudi Arabia. It is a fairly small to medium-sized map in the middle of a junk-filled field next to a river with a couple of buildings at one side of the map. The looks of this map are not good. It is basically a trash-filled dump on fire. The buildings, river, and palm trees help a bit, but not really much at all. I'm gonna have to give this one the lowest score so far with a 1.2 out of 10. The 0.2 is for the trees and river. The playability of this map was pretty horrendous as well. Whenever this map came up to play, I would usually back out. It was filled with snipers that would spawn trap you from across the map. I honestly could not stand playing on this map. If I could make it to the buildings alive, I may have had a chance to get a kill, but it was rare. I'm going to beat the look score on this one and give the playability score a 1 out of 10. The coolness and vibe of this map is again not great. It's a dump. There really isn't anything cool about that. It's got the two buildings which are kind of cool, with one of them being a shop, but I really don't have much to say about this one. I'll give this one a 1.8 out of 10 for the coolness vibe ranking. And the attention to detail wasn't the best either. Again, it's mostly a pile of trash. But there is a bit of detail in the buildings, with the shop having a cash register, and the fruit stand with the fruit you can shoot. Also in the trash field on the shipping container you can find MW COD written on it. Pretty cool detail. I'll give this one a 2.5 out of 10. So Bog gets a laughable overall rating of 6.5 out of 40. The last map for this video is Countdown. It takes place in the Altai Mountains in Russia. It is a large map set on a missile launch site with several hangars on the outskirts of the map. There are many blast shields for the silos that you could use for cover as well. The looks of this map aren't bad. It is set in the mountains surrounded by trees. Although it is a mostly gray map, you got those trees surrounding you, bringing some color to the map. You got the 3 silos smoking, which adds to the look of the map. It's mostly just a basic military base. I will give this map's look rating a 5.5 out of 10. The gameplay of this map, to me, was not very good. There are so many places to hide on this map, with all the cover those shields provide. When I would play, I would avoid the middle because I would get picked off from all over the place. I would stick to the outskirts and try to sneak up behind or to the side of one of the players. This was another sniper type map. I would give my rating of playability a 4.5 out of 10. This map is pretty cool. You are on a launch site. How cool is that? And in the mountains. You got all the missile silos in the middle, and as I mentioned, 3 of them pluming with smoke. One of those silos, if you look down in it, you can see a missile in there, like it's going to launch at any minute. The hangars on the outskirts are cool too, filled with weapon cases and missiles. I will give the cool vibe factor of this map a 7.5 out of 10. For being just a missile launch site, this map surprisingly has quite a bit of details. In the hangars you got all the equipment, and there are even fire extinguishers near the door, which is just a small detail that adds to the map. You got this gate leading onto the site that has spotlights on it and cameras, which a lot of people probably never notice. And some buildings have electrical conduits and panels on the outside. The tanks and crash helicopter are pretty well detailed, although I think these gauges on the helicopter are on the wrong side. But I will give the attention to detail an above average 6.8 out of 10. Countdown's total rating is a 24.3 out of 40. So that concludes part 1 of my review of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare's maps in depth. If you like this video, let me know. And I should have part 2 coming out hopefully pretty soon. Be sure to subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. And thank you so much for watching.